How are you? July 9th, 2024. I wrote a book on Ty Cobb's baseball stats box scores. And I just finished a series of videos detailing his box scores from 1905 to 1928. I did every year. This video is a recap of Ty Cobb. I want to highlight his accomplishments. He played 24 years. He appeared in 3,034 games, plus 15 postseason games. That's 3,049 games. After all those games, his career average was 366. Incredible. They say Josh Gibson is now the #1 batting average king of all time. That's incorrect. Ty Cobb is #1, 366. Josh Gibson, career average is 373. But there's one thing everybody's missing. He played 602 games of record. He probably played a lot more other games. We don't have the record. What would his career batting average be if we had all those other games? We don't have it. We just have 602 games, according to Baseball Reference. 373. That's 602 games. Ty Cobb, 3,049 games, including the postseason. Regular and postseason, 3,049 games. 366. He's #1, okay? No debate. You can't compare that. Josh Gibson is not the all-time batting leader average. Ty Cobb is, because of the games. You give me Josh Gibson with 3,000 games, and if he's at 367, which is higher than 366 with Ty Cobb, then I would give it to Josh Gibson. But I can't right now. I got to give the #1 all-time batting average leader of all time is Ty Cobb. 366, no debate, no discussion. You can't just have a couple games and say, hey, I'm the all-time batting. What's the criteria to me? A minimum 2,500 games. Ty Cobb surpassed that. He's got 3,049. 2,000 games? Well, if you play 20 years and you play 100 games a season, that's 2,000 games. I think you need to play 125, 150 games in a season to see what your true batting average is. Don't you agree with that? I mean, you need at least 500 at-bats, and then we know what your batting average is. You can't just have 100 at-bats. You can't just have 50 games and say, hey, I batted 400. With 50 games? Come on. I batted 400 with 100 games. If you can bat 400 with 150 games, then you impress me. Even 140 games because you missed some with injuries or sickness or whatever. I'd say a minimum you need 500 at-bats. Then we know what your batting average is. Okay. So Ty Cobb, #1, 366 career batting average, 4,189 hits. That's in 3,049 games. We know Pete Rose, 4,256. But Pete Rose played over 3,500 games. So that's 500 more games than Ty Cobb. To me, the all-time leader in hits is Ty Cobb, because he did it in 3,049 games. 3,034 regular season is 4,189. How many hits did he get in the postseason? Let's see, I have it here. Postseason hits. He got 17. Played in 3 World Series. It was the American League versus the National League back then in the 1907, 1908, 1909. There was no division playoff. There was no wild card playoff. It was just the American versus the Nationals. So they played the World Series. That was it. Ty Cobb got an extra 17 hits. What's that? So if we want to count postseason and regular season for Ty Cobb, 4189 plus 17. Ty Cobb has 4,206 hits. We can do the same with Pete Rose because he played in a lot of postseason games. So you would add his total of, if it's not 4256, add Pete Rose's postseason. How many more hits? You want me to do it? All right, I'll do it. Let's look up Pete Rose. Actually, all I gotta do is just put in Pete Rose in the baseball reference and I'll get it. How many more hits did Pete Rose get in the postseason? Where is it? Put it right here. Pete. Got him. Played a lot of postseason games. All right, he has 4256 regular season. Postseason, you want to add it? Here it is. You got 86 more hits in the postseason because he's got National League Series, you got Division Series. Played in 3 World Series. Actually, more than that. Played 1970, 1972, 75, 76, 80, 81, 83. So all those years he's in the postseason. He's got an extra 86 hits. All right. 42, 56 plus 86. Pete Rose has 4,342 hits, combining both. Ty Cobb, 4,206. That's about 100 more hits, but Pete Rose had an extra 67 postseason games. You want to do the math here? I'll do it. Pete Rose, 67 postseason games plus 3,562 regular. 36-29. That's how many games Pete Rose played. And he has over 4,300 hits. Ty Cobb, 36-29 minus 3,049. Because that's how many combined he has. Pete Rose played an extra 600 more games than Ty Cobb. Yet the difference is about 100. Match them up both with the same number of games, Ty Cobb comes ahead. That's my point. Ty Cobb is the all-time hit leader, according to games. Agree or disagree there? Here's some other accomplishments of Ty Cobb. We're doing the recap of his amazing career. It really is remarkable. I've got it here at Baseball Reference. Scores 2,245 runs, 724 doubles, 295 triples, 117 homers. Not a homer guy. 1,944 RBIs. That's impressive because he's not a home run guy, yet he's still got 1,900 RBIs. Almost 2,000. 897 stolen bases. Incredible. 366 lifetime average. 680. No, he got. Let's see. Here it is. All right, 1,200 walks. 680 strikeouts. And 11,440 at-bats. That's a very good ratio. 680 strikeouts and over 11,000 at-bats. 433 on base. It's not quite as high as Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb or Ted Williams. Both of those guys were near 500 on base, which was half the time. Ted Williams holds the record on base. 512 slugging, which is good, because a lot of other guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame have 300, 400 slugging. Ty Cobb is at 500. Of course, the record is 690 by Babe Ruth. And he has 5,854 total bases, which is incredible. Here's some other things. I don't know if you guys realize this as far as Ty Cobb. He had a hitting streak, 1911, of 40 games. Not too many people have done that. Maybe a handful. Joe DiMaggio's 56. Willie Keeler, 40 something. George Sisler, 40s. Pete Rose had a 44. Not too many guys go over 40 hitting streak. And he also had a 35-game hitting streak. Multi-hit games. This impressed me. Ty Cobb had 1,261 multi-hit games, indicating a game with 2 or more hits. 1,261. And in 1 year, he had 84 of them. 84 multi-hit games. 3 homer games, he did it once. Had 3 homers in a game once. 2 homers in a game 4 times. So not that he's not a home run hitter. 2 hit games, though. He's really up there. 838 of them. 3 hit games. 327 3-hit games. 4 hit games. 82 of them. And how about this one? 5 hit games. 13. 13 5-hit games. And then he had 1 6-hit game. I don't know if anybody has more 5-hit games than Ty Cobb. Does anybody have more than 13 of them? I don't think so. 2 runs scored games. 378 times. 2 or more runs scored. 3 runs scored in a game. 97 times. 4 runs in a game. 13 times. 5 runs in a game. Twice. All right. 2 runs batted in a game. 324 times. 3 runs batted in, RBI. 3 RBI games. 98 of them. 4 runs batted in a game. 34 times. How about that? 5 runs batted in a game 12 times. 6 runs batted in a game twice. He had 3 400 batting seasons. 3 of them. He had 23 seasons over 300. He had 9 200-hit seasons. He had 11 100 runs scored seasons, and then he had 7 100 RBI seasons. Ty Cobb recap. What do you think? Greatest hitter of all time. Not the greatest player. Greatest player is Babe Ruth. Greatest hitter, Ty Cobb. Greatest all-around player, debatable. Henry Aaron, Willie Mays. Most splendid hitter of all time, Ted Williams, Roger Hornsby. But Ty Cobb gets the crown. Greatest hitter of all time. 366. All right, we're done with him. Our next series of videos, guess who? Lou Gehrig. I'm going to cover all his years and all his box scores. Talk to you later. I'm out.